The life of a beautiful 18-year-old Florida girl was taken earlier this month, of all places, on a Carnival Cruise Line while she was cruising the Caribbean with her family. This has been a lot of stuff has been swirling around online about this case, but now we're actually starting to get some documentation on it, and we're going to dig into it tonight. This video contains mature themes and discussions intended only for adult audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello there, my friend, and welcome back to another true crime conversation with me. My name is Gavin Fish, and on my channel, we just love cutting through the fluff and the sensationalism in true crime. We like to cut right to the nitty-gritty. We like documents. We like good, solid reporting, and that's what we're going to get into tonight. Before we do, hey, over in the live chat, tell me where you are viewing from. I don't know. I just get a kick out of it. I know my analytics tell me where everybody views from, but I don't know. I just like it. Plus, it gets the live chat going, and we pride ourselves around here with having the very, very best live chat in all of true crime. Now, of course, tonight we are talking about the death of Anna Kepner. Again, an 18-year-old teenager, a senior in high school from the space side of Florida. And her body was found in her room. And we're going to get into some of those details, which are just grisly and gruesome. And I just feel so sorry. I feel so sorry for this poor girl for the last moments of her life, which must have just been violent and terrifying and horrifying. And I think all of us can feel that, right? Just must have been horrifying. It kind of seems like her life was kind of tough going into the last day of her life. It does seem like she was a good kid that was trying to overcome some hardships. But before we really get into that, I want to make a couple of announcements on the channel. The first one is an announcement that I make almost every single night. It is that you are always welcome to join us on the Fish Tank on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, join us on the Fish Tank. It's where we like to hang out. I saw this today. I thought it was so awesome, this sticker, "Don't be an armadillo hole." We're fans of the word dill hole on this channel. I don't have any water in there. Hold on. So please do join us over on the Fish Tank. It is a growing community. I think we're coming up on 5,800 people in the tank, which is pretty awesome. Also, if you have any experience in being an administrator or moderator of a Facebook group, please hit me up on my website, gavinfish.com. There's always a link down below. If you click on this little icon, the little, an envelope up in the upper corner, you can reach out to me. You can just fill out the form. I would just choose I'd like to volunteer and send me your information. I'm on the lookout for a new admin. Ever since Pat left us, we've kind of been like she left me in charge. That is a horrible idea. We need somebody who can take control of the Fish Tank, and I would love any help. Okay. The second thing that I want to tell you about is I'm actually making a change here at the channel. Speaking of analytics, on December 1st, I think it'll be December 1st. I should have looked at December 1st, which is a Monday. Perfect. Which is a Monday. The first Monday of December, we are going to be changing our normally scheduled time for our live streams. It is going to move forward a little bit. Rather than starting at 7:30, it is going to start at 6 p.m. Now, let me tell you why I'm making this change. Number one, I kind of have to miss out on the nightly routine of getting the kiddos ready for bed and all that stuff. My wife has to do all the heavy lifting there because we are here live streaming and our kids go to bed early. One of the funnest things about our youngest son is he loves bedtime. Like he's always begging, can I go to bed? And he has since he could even just start since he started communicating with us. So we tend to do that right around 8:30 and after the show ends, 8:30, 9 o'clock, but after the show ends, I've got a whole bunch more work to do. So moving it forward is going to help me and my family life a lot, for which I thank you all. Thank you. Number two, in looking at my analytics, it tells me what shows people like to watch. Like if I look at my audience here, it tells me what shows, what channels people like to watch. And not surprisingly, at the top, well, let's say the top four: Brian Enton, Grizzly, Surviving the Survivor, and a newcomer to my audience, well, at least to me, he's not a newcomer, is Courtroom Confidential. And I talked with both Joel at Surviving the Survivor and Joshua Ritter over at Courtroom Confidential. The Ritters usually start about 8 p.m. Eastern, and Joel starts about 7 p.m. Eastern. And so I'm going to start at 6 p.m. Eastern so that all y'all that want to see our live streams just boom, 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 you can do it. You don't have to choose between me and Joel anymore. So that is why I am doing that. And I hope that that is something that you guys will be okay with. So yes, Scotch Mom asks 6 Eastern. Yes, yes, yes. It is indeed going to be 6 Eastern. What is Gavin is drowning. I am drowning. I am drowning. In the tank, I can't keep up. Pat did such a good job of keeping the discussions going and alive and awesome. And without her, I'm floundering. Yes. So that's those are my two announcements. One, I really need help in the fish tank, and two, going to be moving to 6 p.m. Eastern, starting December 1st. Okay, let's see where all y'all's from. All's y'all's. Let's see. Watching from Portland, Oregon, Jacksonville, Florida, Newcastle, Australia. Now, that is a name in Australia that I believe actually exists. Irvine, California, down in the OC. Mountain Home, Arkansas. Sun City, California. Kansas City, Missouri. Boston, Mass. Leander, Texas. I hope I said that correctly. Norton, VA, suburbs of Sacramento, Benny 916. I was raised in the suburbs of Sacramento. All of our children were born in the suburbs of Sacramento. My wife was born and raised in the suburbs of Sacramento. So welcome to Benny. Good to see a fellow Sacramentan there. Colorado in the house. Dina Lucas says you guys aren't far from each other. That's pretty cool. LB Hammer Time is in a bar in Indiana while her husband plays poker, or his husband. Her, it looks like. Anything else? Let's see. Yeah. I wanted to make sure. North Carolina in the house. Moni, of course, from Virginia in the house. Good to see you all. Okay, and then I skipped over a couple of comments. Shay7036 says that she hopes that we had a fantastic anniversary. We did have a very happy anniversary. And you know what was fun? We went to get some Thai cuisine, which my wife has never had. I don't know. I eat a lot of Asian food. I love Asian food. I love Chinese food. With Japanese food, I love teriyaki. I love Vietnamese food. I love pho. I love it all. I love Thai food. Kimberly is a little more apprehensive about Asian cuisine, and so she's never done Thai. But well, it was my choice because this date night this week was my choice. And so I said, I know you're going to love it. She kept thinking we're going to get Chinese food. She doesn't like Chinese food. It's, had I known that before we got married, I would have second guessed. I would have gone through with it and it would have been fine. There were two things. Kimberly does not like Chinese food and she gets motion sick. And so when I took her on our first date and we went flying, that did not go well. Anyway, we had a very happy anniversary. And I also want to say a happy belated anniversary to my friends Matt and Stacy back in Sacramento who share our anniversary November 19th. They were celebrating big number 20. And I am very, very happy for them and love them deeply. So I wanted to give that. Let's see. We got Saginaw, Michigan in the house. I missed that. Rose Red International Waters. Which country prosecutes United States? This one will be a federal case. Okay. All right. So we have gone through we've done the intro. We've done the announcements. What comes next? What do we do next, everybody? Let's get to headlines.
True crime headlines.
Pow! Okay. True crime headlines. There are a couple things that I wanted to catch us up on because these are cases that we have been following. Tomorrow night, by the way, which is Friday night, November 21st, we will be doing our weekly wrap-up, our roundup, our recap, whatever we call it. So we'll be talking about a lot of these cases in detail, but just a couple of updates here. Number one, whoever killed and dismembered Celeste Rivas Hernandez likely had help. This comes to us from KTLA. Rising R&B star David is being viewed as a suspect in the death of a 14-year-old girl whose body was found dismembered in a vehicle linked to the singer, law enforcement confirmed to KTLA. But reporting from TMZ indicates that he might not be the only person on police radar. TMZ was the first to report that the 20-year-old artist, whose real name is David Anthony Burke, was being viewed as a suspect in the death of Celeste, whose body was found in the front trunk of the Tesla. The outlet also reports, citing law enforcement sources, that police are looking into the possibility that someone, Burke or another killer, may have had accomplices who helped dispose of Rivas's body. And we're going to talk about this tomorrow, but one of the things that has also come up is the idea that she probably was dead in the spring. She was last seen in April from the reporting that I have read. So she may have been in that car from April or May all the way till early September when her body was recovered. So we've got David as a suspect. He had accomplices and, allegedly, and she may have been in that car for so long. So that's a quick headline there. Now, headline number two, since we're following it, the Brian Walsh case. Full jury has been seated in Brian Walsh's murder. This is brought to us by Boston 25 News staff. Dateline Dead of Mass. A full jury has been selected in the murder trial of Brian Walsh, a South Shore man who is accused of killing his wife. Following 3 days of jury selection, a full set of jurors has now been seated. This is actually surprising to me because Judge, how do we say her name? Frieri or something like that? I can't remember. Indicated in the hearing that it might take as long as 2 weeks. But nay, after 3 days of jury selection, they have found a jury. I guess that voir dire wasn't all that difficult after all. Continuing the story, on the first day of jury selection, 9 of the 16 jurors needed for the trial were seated. As of Wednesday afternoon, 12 jurors had been seated. This The proceedings will now focus on whether Walsh is guilty of murder. Walsh is charged in the murder of his missing wife, Anna. I can bring up a photo of her right here. Over New Year's 2023, her body has never been found. Of course, you guys remember that he pleaded guilty to 2 of the 3 counts. One was having to do with the improper disposal of human remains, and the other was lying to or misleading police. He will, according to Josh Ritter anyway, yeah, I mean, he's looking probably about 10 years in prison just for those. That's what I think anyway. I can't. I think Josh said that, but now I'm second guessing. I don't want to attribute to him something that he didn't say, but yeah, I mean, he's already going to prison for a good long time. Now it's a matter of will it be life, and we don't know. Testimony is expected to begin on December 1st, according to 25 or Boston 25. All right, next thing that we have missed because of my schedule with our anniversary, I wanted to bring you guys up to date on real quick, is that Kata Scott's family has launched a foundation on what would have been her 24th birthday, which was 2 days ago. Dateline Philly. This is coming to us from 6ABC, WPVI, the ABC affiliate in Philadelphia. As prosecutors continue to lay the groundwork for a case against a man accused of killing Kata Scott, let's bring up a photo of Kata here. Her family is left to pick up the pieces. Tuesday would have been Scott's 24th birthday. Oh my goodness. No, that was, do you guys remember? I don't know. I would imagine based on my analytics and the fact that I pull with old ladies for some reason. Always have. I just have lots of pull with old ladies. Anyway, I would imagine that all of you are of a certain age that is equal to or similar to mine. So, do you remember when you were 24 years old? 23, 24. I got engaged to my snuggly bear, my sweetie pie, my one and only Kimberly Fish, the former Kimberly Compton, when we were 23, and we were married just a month after we both turned 24, less than a month. Well, it was more for me, less for her. For like 25 glorious days, I'm married to a younger woman, and then she catches up. But think about Kata Scott and what she could be doing with her young life, full of possibilities ahead of her, with what could perhaps just be a life of just wonder and beauty for her and all around her. And her life was cut down with a bullet to the head. Police believe done by this man, Keon King. But can you just imagine? 23, guys, too early. It happens as the family's still trying. Oh, sorry. Tuesday would have been her 24th birthday. Her family is marking the day by launching a foundation in her honor, continues the article. It happens as the family is still trying to make sense of the tragedy. Quote, in the middle of the night, thinking about her, yeah, it's been tough, said Kevin Scott, Kata's father. To be honest, I'm not good. I'm not good. My daughter's not here anymore. You know, I got a letter, an email today from my dad's baby sister, my Aunt Kath, who is like 92,000 different kinds of awesome. She is the best. And one of the things that she's really good at is correspondence. She takes after her mother, my grandmother. She's a very good correspondent. And while we live on and have always lived in on different sides of the country, that might be the closest relationship I have with any of my aunts and uncles. I just love her to death. Anyway, she was responding to kind of how I've been feeling lately. Very nostalgic, very melancholy, to be honest. Just you guys know. But she talked to me in that letter about what was referred to as his melancholia, him being Abraham Lincoln. I did not know that Abraham Lincoln was a depressed person. He had had lots of tragedy in his life. Of course, his life ended tragically as well. Very similar to Ms. Scott's. And then, he lost friends. He was prone to what he called melancholia. I'm going to actually get a biography. I'd love to read it. My dad has a little signed Abraham Lincoln autobiography. That book is about the size of my phone and maybe about that thick. And it's an autobiography of Abraham Lincoln, signed by Abraham Lincoln. He has that in his collection. Maybe I would start by borrowing that. No, not start. I'm going to be back in California next year. Maybe I'll just read it then. But anyway, Kata Scott's dad, he's not okay. And it's okay to not be okay, especially in light of the fact that his daughter was so violently taken from him. So I pray for this family, and hopefully we can make a difference by keeping her name alive, keeping her name out there. I'm looking forward to seeing what the foundation does. I don't think... Oh, here it is. Here it is. The Kata Scott Foundation will provide scholarships, grants, and mentors for girls who have... Oh, this is beautiful. The Kata Scott Foundation will provide scholarships, grants, and mentors for girls who have the same type of positivity and ambition Kata had before she became the victim of a heinous crime. That is beautiful, because there's nothing in this world that we want to support more than positivity and ambition in little girls, right? That is a terrific mission for the Kata Scott Foundation. I congratulate them. I hope that I might be able to help the foundation. Let's see if it has any... Kata Scott's family now wants to grow the legacy their daughter started. It's one based on creativity, ambition, and kindness. Those are the 3 words written on a hoodie that Kevin Scott designed in honor of his daughter. The hoodie also features a Letterman-style K representing Kata's name. Does it have a link? Yeah. Okay, the Kata Scott Foundation will be launching soon. So we're going to keep an eye on that, guys. And I congratulate that family. That is such a difficult situation to be in, and they are handling it with grace and standing as shining beacons of what we all should want to be in so many different ways. So thank you very much, Scott family and the foundation, for setting that example for the rest of us. Okay, last headline comes to us from Crime Cod. Connecticut police charged 3 after remains of 12-year-old girl found stuffed into plastic bin. This is from Kate Bird. Top-line court records detail starvation and restraint before the girl's death. Suspects held on multi-million-dollar bonds. Let's zoom up so you guys can see this. Here are our 3 winners. Man, that guy, Jonathan Nadita, he got into a fight, didn't he? Okay, New Britain, Connecticut. A 12-year-old Connecticut girl died from abuse and starvation, and authorities found her remains in a plastic container. Her mother, aunt, and the mother's former boyfriend now face murder charges. Why can't we just take care of one another? Oh my goodness. Authorities determined that remains found in a plastic bin at an abandoned house belonged to Jacqueline Mimi Torres Garcia, dead for nearly a year. Police arrested Carla Garcia, Jacqueline Garcia, and Jonathan Jojo Nanita soon after in mid-October. The Office of the Chief Medical Examiner ruled the child's cause of death as fatal child abuse with starvation. The manner of death was ruled a homicide. Oh my goodness. Investigators believe the girl died in the fall of 2024 when her family lived in Farmington. The young girl was never reported missing. Oh. 12 years old. 12 years old. I've got a 12-year-old. We just ordered glasses for him. And I love those little things, guys. I love those little things. Those little, like, I don't know, just everyday tasks that you have to do for and with your children or because of your children. I just love. And this little girl was like in the middle of it. The girl weighed only 26 to 27 pounds at the time of her death, according to an affidavit reviewed by People. She was often restrained with zip ties, police allege. Well, let's get these photos in front of everybody. Can you believe that? We'll keep an eye on it. I'm sorry, that one brought me down. I need some like transition music. I got to prepare some transition music. Do I have anything? Hang on. Do I have anything that we could use? Let's see. No, not that one. I probably blew out your eardrums on that. Sorry. I just needed transition music. Wow. I should have ended with the Kata Scott Foundation thing. Goodness sake. All right. Those are our headlines. Let's get it out of our system.
True crime headlines.
All right. Okay. Let's see if you guys have anything that you want to say to me. Matthew says, I know you haven't talked about Anna's case yet. I've always wanted to go on a cruise, but I have a great fear of heights and I fear deep waters. Maybe a cruise is not for you. However, I will say this. I've only been on one. It was our honeymoon, and it was one of those really, really short, like 3 or 4 day cruises from Los Angeles down to like Ensenada, Mexico and back. We were young. We were broke. It was perfect. We loved it. Now, I'm not one that is fearful of heights or of deep water. However, like, I never felt particularly high, nor, well, it was our honeymoon. We were indoors most of the time. That is funny, but so many fun things to do on a cruise. Don't let this get you down. Definitely do that if that's something you want to do. You can overcome your fears. Okay. Let's and remember, if you want to get my attention in the live chat, just put GF in your comment. Okay, let's turn our attention now. Where do I want to start with this? Let's bring up Anna's photo here, and I think the best place to start. I think the best place to start is over here on Acrobat with this story from yesterday. This was ABC News. Okay. Now, basically, well, it'll tell us. I don't want to give you guys a rundown of the case when this is going to give us the rundown. Okay. And actually, you know what? I think, let me mute this tab. The family of an 18-year-old girl. This is an article. If I bring this one up, this one is an article from the day after. Okay. So what is this? The 9th. The family of 18-year-old Anna Kepner, who was reported dead while aboard the Carnival Horizon cruise ship on Saturday, says they will remember her as a happy, bubbly, straight-A student with a bright future ahead. Anna, who was set to graduate from high school in May, was traveling aboard the ship on a route from Miami to the Caribbean when she died. Details surrounding her death have not been released. The ship returned to Miami on Saturday, where the FBI has since opened an investigation into her death. Quote, when she walked in the room, she would light it up. Her family told ABC News, if you were sad, she'd make you laugh. She would joke around and be the funniest little person in school. So there wasn't much information at this point, but as of this next article, there's a bit more, and let's get into it. A new twist as FBI investigates teen's death on cruise. Okay, that's, I don't know. I think that was the photo caption. Okay, Anna Kepner, a teen who died aboard a Carnival Horizon cruise ship earlier this month, was found dead under a bed, wrapped in a blanket, and covered by life vests, according to a security source briefed on the investigation. Guys, why would you stuff her under a bed, wrap her in a blanket, and cover her with life vests unless you wanted to hide the fact that she was dead? Now, that's Obviousville here, right? Like, I'm Captain Obvious here for sure. But again, this goes to consciousness of guilt, right? If there was an accidental death, if it was an accident, I don't think the perpetrator would have gone to the trouble of trying to hide it. Hiding a body means consciousness of guilt. Plain and simple. The 18-year-old cheerleader from Titusville, Florida, was reported dead while aboard the Carnival Horizon cruise ship on November 8th. The Miami-Dade medical examiner has not specified a cause or manner of death. This was written yesterday. And I've been looking. I have not seen a cause or manner yet, but if you guys have, let me know. Among the avenues investigators are looking at is whether there might have been some sort of altercation with her stepbrother prior to her death, a source told ABC News. Investigators are also looking at other possibilities, including a medical emergency or an overdose, the source said. Yeah, if there's an overdose, why hide the body? Well, maybe you're the person who delivered the drugs. We'll know when toxicology comes back, I guess, more about that. Investigators are poring over ship security records, including security camera footage and access card swipes, to get a picture of who was where at the various times prior to her death, the source said. A court filing in an unrelated family matter, we're going to get into this, notice Kepner's step-sibling could face charges. Now, I want to just address something right now. This is a 16-year-old boy. I am not going to identify him, not on purpose anyway, nor am I going to show any photos of him. He's a juvenile. We're going to do the no pictures of juveniles rule. We will, however, share photos of our victim because we need to remember that this is not a case, like all our cases, this is not a case about the perpetrator. It is a case about the victim. Okay? The filing said the FBI is conducting an investigation arising out of the sudden death of 18-year-old Anna Kepner. Now, I want to thank one of my volunteers for helping me find these documents. These are the documents that are being referred to in that story. And let's see, did I bring... I don't think I did. I had another story prepared, but I think before we get into these documents, maybe what we should do is head on over to a couple of, they're just a couple of like short 1 or 2 minute media reports that I want to show you. This first one comes out of WESH Channel 2. This was reported today. All right, let's go ahead and have a listen. Hopefully this won't blare your eardrums. I didn't bump up the volume, so I'm sorry if you can't hear it either. Here we go.
This morning, we're now hearing from the biological mother of Anna Kepner, the 18-year-old who died on a cruise ship. Court documents show Anna's stepbrother could be a suspect in her death.
And WESH's Bob Hazen is live in Titusville. Bob,
and we're going to get into those documents, obviously.
The community will come together today to remember Anna.
That'll happen at 5 o'clock tonight here at the Grove Church in Titusville. This is a place that Anna went to youth group, and there's a lot of people in this community and really around the nation that are grieving her loss. That includes her birth mom, who talked to WESH 2 over the phone last night.
I found out through Google, because I ended up Googling it, because all the information the only information I had was my daughter was on a cruise.
You know what? Let me just pause that for a second. I think this is a signal that there is very, like, almost no indication, no communication between and Anna's parents, who are divorced, or I don't know if they're divorced, if they were ever married, but they are not together, right? And I think she goes on to tell us that she hasn't talked to Anna in like 2 years. Now, I'm probably reading between the lines on this, but this is why I say a young girl, a young woman who had difficulties in life. If you have parents that, like, if you have a parent you haven't spoken to in 2 years, you have overcome some difficulty.
Well, Heather right there says she has not heard from Anna's dad or the FBI since her daughter died. And we stopped by the family's house yesterday. They left in an SUV without stopping to talk. We did see Anna's car parked on the grass outside. Anna Kepner was a student at Temple Christian School in Titusville. She was on a Carnival cruise when she was found dead back on November 9th. The FBI has not revealed anything about what might have happened, but court documents in her stepmom's divorce case claim
Which we're going to get
that her
into.
16-year-old son, so Anna's stepbrother, is a suspect in the death. The boy does not appear to be in custody. Anna's birth mom lives in Oklahoma now. She last saw her daughter 2 years ago. She says Anna was a great girl who never got into trouble.
She always wanted to make people laugh. She loved the water. We were constantly going to the lake here where I live, so she can go swimming.
Well, she is desperate for answers about what happened to Anna, and today we expect we could get autopsy results from the medical examiner that could explain how Anna died. Tonight, though, is the time to remember the teen. Her celebration of life happening at 5 o'clock here at the Grove Church on Harrison Street in Titusville. Her family asking that no one who comes wear black, instead wear bright colors in honor of Anna, and her favorite color was blue. Covering Brevard County Live in Titusville, Bob Hazen, WESH 2 News.
Okay, so I just want to show so that memorial would have started about 3 hours ago. Whenever I hear a parent, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about this, and I'm okay to be wrong. Call me out if I am. It didn't sound like she was particularly grieving. And anytime a parent will talk to the news, I always kind of feel like, why are you talking to the news? Don't talk to the news. Like, have some dignity. And I'm a person who goes and talks to people like this. And sometimes, like, I can't believe you're talking to me. But it doesn't seem to me like there was a huge relationship between Anna and her mother. Here is here's a report from WKMG that I want to show you guys. Let me bring it up. This one is about 2 minutes long as well. Let's have a watch.
Anna Kepner's 16-year-old stepbrother, quote, is a suspect in her death on a Carnival cruise ship. That information is not coming from law enforcement. It's coming from the 16-year-old's parents. Those parents were just in court.
Yeah, I cannot believe in a matter of family disputes that it was a public hearing. But check this out.
If the court isn't aware that apparently this has been made national news.
This online court hearing involving a child custody case took place just hours before a memorial service honoring Anna Kepner, who was found dead on a Carnival cruise ship. The teen was joined on that cruise by her father, her stepmother, and at least 2 of her stepmother's children from another marriage, a nearly 9-year-old daughter and 16-year-old son. Those 2 children were the subject of this court hearing.
Can I speak?
This is Chantel Kepner, the children's mother and Anna Kepner's stepmother. She's in a child custody dispute with her ex-husband, Thomas Hudson, seated on the right. The former couple says their 16-year-old son, quote, is a suspect in his stepsister's death.
Well, Your Honor, it's our understanding that because the cruise was in international waters, that the young child, not the 9-year-old, but the 16-year-old was allowed to drink. The teenagers were given their own room in which to stay. Just a lot of circumstances that showed that the mother in this case was not exercising appropriate supervision over this child.
I think that is the dumbest argument. You know, when we go to a hotel as a family, we have separate rooms for our kids. It's okay. Have you ever been on a cruise ship? Dude, not a lot of room. So, yeah, having a separate room for the kids, that's not an indication that there's anything bad going on there. And they argue back, the other side argues back. I'll let them argue for themselves.
Or the other child involved.
Chantel Kepner's attorney disputes that.
There are videotapes on the ship that confirm that there was absolutely no drinking, and that and DCF investigated and saw that there was no alcohol in mom's house whatsoever. So I'm not sure where that's coming from.
There was no resolution to the child custody dispute, which will be handled at a future court hearing. We did learn that 16-year-old stepbrother was taken to the hospital after the cruise for undisclosed reasons. He is now living with a relative on his mom's side of the family as the FBI investigation continues. Mike DeForest, News 6.
Okay, so that brings us back over here. I need to be able to see what you guys are saying. Okay, these are the court documents that they're referencing in all of these reports that we've read and watched tonight. This is them. Okay, they're very quick. We're going to make it very quick, but this is a family motion, family law, emergency motion for temporary relief. Comes now the petitioner, Thomas Hudson. This is the stepmom's ex-husband. By and through his attorney, moves the court for temporary relief on an emergency basis, and as grounds, therefore, does state there are 2 remaining minor children that are subject to the action, to wit, TH, born in 2009, and BH, born in 2016. The oldest child of the parties, so they had 3, is an 18-year-old. Let's see, the parties' 16-year-old child has been residing with the respondent. The respondent has denied the petitioner's time sharing with the remaining minor children. The respondent took the remaining minor children on a cruise with the stepchild of her paramour. Her husband? I'm not sure if they're married or not. Paramour indicates that they are unmarried, but they do talk about like stepmom, stepdad, right? The 16-year-old child is now a suspect. You see that I got it highlighted here. The 16-year-old child is now a suspect in the death of the stepchild, Anna Kepner, during the cruise. While released from custody, the 16-year-old child, so this would be TH, is residing with a third party. And then it goes through a couple of other things. Line item number 17. The 16-year-old's future has been put in jeopardy because of the choices made by the respondent. That, to me, indicates that maybe stepmom here is somehow involved. Do they know something? The 16-year-old's future has been put in jeopardy because of choices made by the respondent. Are they talking about just something as simple as the choice to go on a cruise? Or is it something like, no, she has something to do with this, and there are other parts. Gavin, stop. There is another part to this that kind of feels like she also is saying that I may have had a part in this. We'll get to it, okay? And that's it. Wherefore, blah blah blah. I would like the job. Okay. So that was filed. If we go up here, that was filed on the 17th at 1:54 p.m. The same day at 4:39 p.m. There's an emergency motion for continuance of hearing on petitioner's motion for contempt and enforcement, and this is filed by the stepmom, Chantel Hudson. Right. Now comes the respondent. Actually, if her name is Chantel Hudson, I know that we live in a modern world, but that might be a clue also that she and Anna Kepner's dad are not married, but okay. Comes now the respondent, Chantel Hudson, by and through the undersigned counsel, hereby files this motion for, a continuance of the hearing, which is set for December 17th. To be rescheduled, and as grounds therefore would state as follows. An extremely sensitive and severe circumstance has arisen wherein the respondent mother will not be able to testify at the hearing at this time. Currently, there is an investigation being conducted by the Federal Bureau of Investigation arising out of the sudden death of 18-year-old Anna Kepner, who was found deceased on November 9th, 2025 on a Carnival cruise. She died on the 8th, they believe. At least she went missing on the 8th. Ms. Anna Kepner, the deceased, is the daughter of the respondent's paramour, and the respondent and the minor child of this instant action were all on the cruise ship together. The respondent has been advised through discussions with FBI investigators and her attorneys that a criminal case may be initiated against one of the minor children of this instant action. The respondent's privilege against self-incrimination must be invoked pursuant to Florida Constitution Article 1, subsection 9. No person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, or be twice put in jeopardy for the same offense, or be compelled in any criminal matter to be a witness against oneself. I wish I had an attorney on as a guest today to kind of figure that out, because is it TH that is the suspect here, or is it Chantel who is the suspect here? I can't tell based on this. Any testimony the respondent may give, either written or oral, could be prejudicial to her or her adolescent child. Now, this is where it kind of gets a little more gray for me. Prejudicial to her or her adolescent child. Well, I kind of feel like the Fifth Amendment here and the Florida Constitution, Article 1, subsection 9, kind of really only applies to self-incrimination, not incrimination of another. You know what I mean? Wherefore, blah, 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 blah. Certificate of service. Okay. Then, so that was, again, 4:39 p.m. on the 17th. On the 18th, day before yesterday at 10:36 p.m., I don't know why, but there's a mother's response to father's emergency motion for temporary relief. Comes now the respondent, Chantel Hudson, hereby states, blah, blah, blah. There are, in fact, two minor children of the parties, to wit, TH, a male child born in 2009, and BH, a female child born in 2016. TH, we believe, is the suspect. The third and eldest child is of different age, blah, blah, blah. And she's saying, there was no altercation that he said there was. There was no DV, nothing like that. Let's skip ahead. Okay. It is true that there is an open investigation regarding the death of the biological daughter of the stepfather. Now they're saying stepfather, and they're misspelling it too, but they're not saying paramour. And then it says specifically, and TH is a suspect regarding this death, which occurred recently on a cruise ship. With regard to the minor child TH, the parties signed a stipulation on or about November 17th that the minor child TH will be living, because the father was arguing that he shouldn't be living with somebody else, but he apparently stipulated to it. So TH, I guess the long and short of it, is residing with another family member. And I don't think... Oh, yeah. It is certainly not in the best interests of TH that any statements regarding the matter that is the subject of the open investigation be discussed at a civil court proceeding. And while I agree with that, it could just be sealed. All this, I don't know why this is public anyway. I don't get it. Why is this public anyway? In the meantime, we've got a 16-year-old who is a suspect, let's say, in the murder. We've got a murdered 18-year-old, this beautiful young thing here, with her whole life ahead of her. And we've got more questions and answers. I think what we're really waiting on right now is toxicology, which could take a long time. Let's quickly, because I'm trying really hard to keep things to an hour. I'm so long-winded. Let's just quickly see if there's anything Content Angel 123 says, because all family law stuff is public if the couple is married. But they're not married. They're divorced. I don't know. Yeah, and if the couple is married, it's public. If the couple is not married, it's private. Go figure. Well, they're not married. So I don't know why. I don't know why. Anything else you guys are saying out here? Hey, Autumn Doyle, 19-month fanatic. Thank you very much. Autumn is our lead moderator here. She does so much for the channel. If you go over to my website, I'm just going to bring this up real quick, give a plug for Autumn. Go over to the support me tab and scroll on down past the ways. I mean, you guys support me so well. I love you for it too. Scroll all the way down. You can buy Autumn a coffee. You can buy Autumn a coffee. That's a good way to say thank you for her keeping the best live chat on YouTube, the best live chat on YouTube. And thanks, Autumn, for being a fanatic for that long. Matthew says, here in the last few years on the news, someone has either gone missing or found on the ship, at least 2 a year. Yeah. Okay. I think that's about it that you guys are saying. So let's do our final little segment of the night. You guys know what time it is. It's time for 3 questions.
It's 3 questions with Gavin Fish.
Pow! All right, guys, I came up with a way to actually have our questions up on the screen. It wasn't all that difficult. It's not like I should be given a gold medal or anything. Maybe a bronze medal. Maybe a bronze medal. But we've got 3 questions again. 3 questions with Gavin Fish. If you ever want to ask a question, nothing's off limits. Everything's on the table. You can ask the most inappropriate stuff you want to ask. Just email it to 3questions@GavinFish. First question. What's a smell that instantly unlocks a memory for you? This is easy. It's crayons. And I think a lot of people have that thing, right? Crayons are such a powerful, powerful smell. And it unlocks 2 memories for me, both of them having to do with the houses of my grandparents. My dad's mom, my grandpa and grandma, they had a home with a basement. And in that basement, there was a whole area that was just all coloring books. And grandma's rule was we were not to take any pages out of the books because she liked to go see what we colored. At least that's what she said. And so we would go down and there were like stacks of books. And sometimes it would be difficult to find anything that hadn't been colored. Because, let's see, how many cousins do I have? 3. I think it's like 24 on that side. Anyway, I'm probably getting that wrong. But anyway, sometimes it was hard to find a page that hadn't been colored, but we would find one that we liked and we would sit there in the basement, kind of by the fire, and we would color and the smell of Crayola would waft around. Also, in my mom's parents' house, my grandparents on that side, they had in their home, they had this little like breezeway. It was a hallway, I guess, but when you get off of it wasn't like a long hallway. It was just a square room, and it had a door on all 4 sides of it. So you could open the door to get into this little hallway, and then on one side was a bedroom, on another side was the laundry room. Through the laundry room was my grandparents' bedroom, and then in front of you was the bathroom. But this little room, which was probably only like 5 feet square, 6 feet by 6 feet, something like that, that also had toys, coloring books, crayons. And so when I smell crayons, I think of my grandmother's. I don't know why I don't think of my grandfather's. Yeah, it's my grandma's. Yeah. Question number 2. If you could rename yourself with no social consequences, what name would you pick? Now listen, whoever wrote this in, which I should look and see, but it doesn't matter. You have hit a hot button in my life. Okay. And let me tell you why. My parents, now you guys know that I think I won the family lottery when I was born. I have the best parents. I have the best brothers. I have the best sisters. Good family. Love them all. But my parents made a mistake. They made a huge mistake with me. And this is the mistake that they made. It has to do with my name. My name is not Gavin Fish. My name is John Fish. That is my name. My middle name is Gavin. So John Gavin Fish. In fact, I'm Captain Nostalgia recently. So this is my high school yearbook. I am probably the only person in my yearbook. Now, luckily, I was on the yearbook staff. But look, let's bring this up. Where are we? There we are, right here. I have a first initial, people. Let's see if you can see my little, there I am right there. Okay, I have a first initial. My name is John Gavin Fish. And here's why. My parents wanted to name one of their sons after my dad, which is terrific. I've got a great dad. I'm happy to be named after my dad. But they didn't want to call me his name. They didn't want a junior, which is fine. So they named me John Gavin Fish with the full intention from the moment I was born that they would call me Gavin. And that is just mean. It's mean. For my entire life, I have to explain to everyone, people at the bank, I don't know, job interviews, everything. Don't call me John. My name is Gavin. And I've wanted so bad to have a credit card that has my actual name on it, but it doesn't. It doesn't. It's you can't see it. It says John G. Fish. It's not my name. So if I could rename myself with no there would be social consequences. I would be more socially, I don't know. I don't know. I would be happier to rename me Gavin John Fish. Now you may be asking yourself, Gavin, why don't you just go and change your name? I'll tell you why. Because my parents gave me this name and I don't want to break my mom's heart. So that's my little diatribe on my name. Okay. Third question. What's something you've learned to appreciate as you've gotten older? What's something I've learned to appreciate? This might be the easy way out, but I deeply appreciate the finiteness of life, the shortness of time, and the fact that opportunities go away. I think you probably can sympathize with me or empathize with me when I say that as a kid, like that picture that I just showed you of my senior year of high school, I just thought that life went on forever. I was immortal and it just didn't matter what I did. What if I was wasting my time or using it for something for good? It didn't matter because I had all the time in the world. And now I know that I don't. So those are my answers to the 3 questions. Thank you very much for sending them in.
It's 3 questions with Gavin Fish.
All right. Before we go, I think we're right at an hour. Mooney. Is it Mooney or Moon? Yeah, it's Mooney. Says, what did you end up doing for Kimberly? I haven't delivered it to her yet. So I'm not going to say. But it ended up being a little bit bigger of a project than I had time for. Speaking of time, right? So haven't given it to her yet. Thank you, Content Angel, for 26 years with my Snuggly Bear, my one and only. Kristen Nilsson says, how about rubber cement and those Mr. Sketch scented markers? Ah, yes, those ones will bring it in. G Smile Sarah says, my grandparents had a tin with crayons and a stack of coloring books. What a great memory you brought to mind. I am so glad for, yeah, those are amazing. Yeah, the smell of rubber cement. Yeah, arts and crafts with grandmas was always fun. All right, guys. So that is the end of our live stream tonight. Tomorrow we'll be doing our weekly recap. We will be talking about this case. We'll be talking about Kada. We'll be talking about Mr. Walsh. We'll be talking about a couple things that I can't think of right now. It's our weekly recap. It'll happen at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time right here on this channel. Remember, December 1st, we're going to be switching our time to 6 p.m. for the reasons that I already explained. And I hope that you guys are good with that. I hope it's going to work out for my analytics say that most of you guys actually are more active at that time than at 7:30. So we'll see. We'll see. Until tomorrow, I bid you adieu, and I hope to see you on the next one. Take care. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, please consider subscribing. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below.